is the scene in Tijuana today. Earlier, hundreds in the caravan were peacefully protesting. That's when a small group broke off and rushed toward the fence.
Americans are inundated with images of migrants storming the U.S. border. But for many of these Central Americans, this isn't their first time across.
You used to live in the U.S.
Yes.
By all intents and purposes, you were an American.
Yeah.
Just because the world that we live in, we can't reunify our family.
It's part of a vicious cycle decades in the making.
We were alerted to yet another shooting here.
I got shot with a .38.
You afraid of Jacob getting shot?
Yeah.
This is Jacob's room.
We follow one family caught up in this revolving door
We have this thing here, Operation Bring Jacob Home.
that keeps spinning with no clear end in sight.
You're basically gambling your son's entire future just because you want him to leave right now.
The minute you take an illegal course of action, people's sympathy for you is going to vanish.
I don't want nobody's sympathy, I could care less what anybody says. As a parent, I'll do whatever it takes to get my son to the next step.
Each week, about 3 plane loads of migrants who are deported from the U.S. are flown in and essentially brought to this immigration processing center here in Salvador. Buses like this can bring in a variety of people, whether it's men, women, or children, but today, most of the occupants were adult males. Salvadorans are among the largest groups of undocumented immigrants deported from the U.S. Everyone here is repatriated with the Salvadoran government. They're given back whatever they could carry and released. For many, this is a foreign country.
Back there, I left my mother in United States, Virginia.
What age did you go to the U.S.?
9 years old.
And how old are you now?
About to be 25 Thursday.
You lived in the United States for 30 years. Who did you leave behind?
It's all my family, my 2 kids. It now is teenage, and my granddaughter, and my little girl, 5 years old.
So you have no one here?
Nobody.
Many of the people sent back to El Salvador have no support system here, so they eventually attempt to return north again.
Buenos dias.
Rafa Arturo was deported back to El Salvador in 2009. He says his parents smuggled him across the U.S. border when he was a child.
You used to live in the U.S.
Yes. Well, I had a life. I was married over there. I had 4 children.
You were, by all intents and purposes, you were an American.
Yeah.
Rafa is eligible to reapply for a green card 10 years after his deportation date. But the U.S.'s increasingly hardline immigration policies and the circumstances under which he left imperil his chance of ever returning.
How did you end up back here?
I did embezzlement, and that's what brought me here,
Records reveal, however, that Rafa was convicted of 3 different crimes related to theft between 1992 and 2001. It wasn't the only questionable detail he provided when discussing what led to his deportation.
We fought my case in court. I thought that bringing my military services was going to help me out to be more lenient.
You served time in the military. You were...
Yeah, a Marine.
You were in theater.
In the Marine, yeah.
Rafa offered no proof of his service in the U.S. Marines, and we were unable to independently verify his claim.
Jay, gordo. Jacob. Gordo.
Rafa now has a young son, and he's determined to see him grow up in the U.S. like he did.
Wake up. You ready?
No.
No? Sí. Turn around.
Jacob will soon follow the same path his father took 4 decades ago.
Bye, let me see. Guapo? All right. The reason why I want to send Jacob to the States is, number one, his safety. You know, that's number one. And education, a better look on life, you know. Right now, his pronunciation in English is not that great, which is okay, you know, but he understands, like, just about everything. Here you go. Come on, player. It's a little hot. Come on, you gotta blow on it.
So where is his mother?
His mom, she's in the States. I don't know if she's in Texas or in North Carolina, one of the two. I haven't had contact since the baby was like about a year and 4 months. So this is San Luis La Herradura. This is where they sell the seafood.
So how familiar are you with this area?
Well, I come here, siempre vengo aquí ¿cómo se llama? No es Super Selecto, La Despensa, or...
So you don't know the area very well?
No, yo no conozco.
Even after a decade in El Salvador, Rafa says he's still an outsider.
So did you come here?
I don't come. The reason why I don't come is because I don't get the deals, right? Because I'm a foreigner. So like...
They'll upcharge you.
Yeah, they love charge me.
So this is like a foreign country?
Yeah, this is a foreign country, yeah. Like right now we're an attraction, but just me and my son are an attraction because I walk right here and I talk to him in English. So everybody's like, oh, he speaks English. At the school, you'll see, le llaman el gringuito que habla inglés, the little white guy who speaks English. That's his little nickname.
Rafa returned to an El Salvador that was completely foreign to him, and it's also become much more dangerous. In 2015, El Salvador had one of the highest murder rates in the world. Since then, the homicide rate has steadily declined, but the threat of gang violence persists.
We were alerted to yet another shooting here. And this is one of the driving forces that compels so many people to leave the country for the US.
In the 1990s, the US sought to rid its city streets of gang violence and sent Salvadoran immigrants that had joined gangs on US soil back to their home country, where they wreaked havoc on vulnerable communities. It set in motion a decades-long cycle of deportation and remigration that continues to this day.
I got shot with a 38. I had like a 50-cent size hole on both of my sides. It happened in front of my house. I saw this guy like pass by. He looked at me, and I looked at him, and then when I saw it, I saw him reach for the gun, and I just started running. I remember he shot 8 shots, and then 2 hit me.
You afraid of Jacob getting shot?
Yeah. And then the other one, how did you jump?
Gangs in El Salvador start recruiting kids as young as 8 years old. In 2017 alone, 540 children were murdered here, the vast majority resulting from gang violence.
Okay.
Shortly after Rafa was shot, he tried to get Jacob a tourist visa so he could interview to attend a school in the US legally, but it was denied.
They suspected that if Jacob were to go on as a tourist, that he would end up just staying in the US.
Yeah.
So they said no.
So they said no.
The school then sent a letter verifying Jacob's application to enroll, so Rafa requested a student visa, but that too was rejected.
My 2 daughters were going to take the full brunt of the housing, the food, the paying the tuition, whatever not, and they denied them. I said, let's see. Ta-da!
Jacob's visa rejection was devastating, not only to Rafa, but to his daughters in America, who are ready to take him in.
This is Jacob's room. So he's super into cars, so we got him this carpet right here.
Uppercase letter B.
That teaches him how to write and everything. We went to IKEA, bought his little drawer and bed. So this is the living room. It's my sister's. They're here 90% of the time.
Kimberly is the oldest of Rafa's 4 daughters, all US citizens. She and her fiance Daphne aren't giving up hope that Jacob will someday live with them.
We've had her aunt or uncle give us stuff. you know, like old clothes from some of their kids and stuff. More Captain America, PJ Masks. We wanted to make as safe and adaptable environment for him because it is a very big change from El Salvador to here. We have this like thing here, Operation Bring Jacob Home. This was a picture of me and my dad when he was like super young. This was in the 90s. Yeah.
After her father's deportation, Kimberly didn't see Rafa for nearly 8 years. In 2017, she and Daphne traveled to El Salvador for the first time and saw that violence wasn't the only danger Jacob faced.
It was surreal. It was quiet, it was beautiful. At the same time, was saddening because you walk down the street and you see like 3 people like begging for food, and it's like, you see homelessness here in the United States, but homelessness there, it's just on a complete other level. It's another side of living.
Nearly 1/3 of Salvadorans live in poverty. Rafa says that replacing the country's currency with the US dollar in 2001 caused the prices of goods to increase, making it harder for those already struggling to get by.
So everything is calculated here in dollars.
Yeah.
Footprints of America all over this place.
Yeah. I mean, it's in a way, it's good for America, but not for the people right here. It brought poverty down more because the people that were living midlife are now poor now. And with $10 a day, it's $10, but yeah, it sounds good, but it's not.
The dollar doesn't go very far.
No, not right here. So right here, minimum wage is $2.15 an hour. For me, that I speak English, that's me. For them, it's probably about 75 cents or 50 cents an hour.
For you, because you speak English?
Because I speak English, and I work in a call center.
Call centers are thriving in places like El Salvador, where thousands of English-speaking deportees are a source of cheap labor.
So this is one of the major commercial districts here in San Salvador, and there are a number of big call centers servicing many American companies. There's a revolving door for people who are deported from the US. They come back here to a country that many are completely foreign to, and working in a call center with their English skills is really one of the only decent ways to earn a living.
Even those with jobs often rely on donations from friends and family in America to make ends meet. Remittances make up a staggering 20% of El Salvador's annual GDP.
You guys are currently supporting Jacob?
Yes. Yeah. So we pay for his schooling and any like food and clothes, medical, medicine, all that stuff. Yeah.
If you weren't supporting him, how would your dad and how would Jacob get by?
Honestly, I feel like he'd be dead.
Jacob would be dead?
Yep. There's just no way. It can be simply not being able to provide food for him and him just be malnourished, you know? And then just having a weak immune system, and then just one day some sickness just take him, and that's how a lot of kids go.
The United States Agency for International Development reported that in 2015, the U.S. gave $332 million in foreign aid to El Salvador. But the current administration is looking to slash that figure by 86%, which would further hinder efforts to provide better health care, job opportunities, and crack down on gang violence, factors driving many who were sent back here to return to the U.S., regardless of the risks.
Okay. Let's see here. The yellow one with the blue. So today, I have to show proof of where I'm living at now. So I brought the light bill. I have to pay $35 so I could go ahead and have the paperwork done so I could take Jacob out. Good job. That was Kimberly. You don't want to say hi to Kimberly and Daphne? Here, say, estamos en la Proco. Tell Kimberly and Jenny. Tell Kimberly and Daphne. Hi, Daphne. Aquí, push it. Dile.
Hi, Daphne. Hi, Kimberly. Estamos aquí en la Proco.
En la Proco, dile.
Sí.
Haciendo
No, este me cree la olvidaba.
Okay, love you.
I love you, pero te quedas.
Okay.
I texted my sister. Oh, okay. Oh no, he sent a picture. He's like, "What are you doing, Jenny?" Talking about his sister. Yeah, he just sent it to me on the WhatsApp app. Hey, Dad, I'm here at the house. Where you guys at? Did you guys go to a lake? What's Jacob up to? Have him send me a message, please. So right now we're on our way to the mall. We're gonna get Jacob some stuff for his birthday, his belated birthday, yes. I want Jacob here at home with us, and he's not here, you know, because he was born in the wrong country, you know, just because of, like, the world and the society that we live in. We can't reunify our family. So we kind of have to live our memories and like moments through photos and videos. No one should have to live a life or see pictures of their siblings or parents, children growing up through videos and photos, you know.
U.S. immigration policies aren't the only thing keeping the family apart. Kim and Daphne considered adopting Jacob, but El Salvador's strict policies made it virtually impossible for them to do so.
That picture was the last picture that I hold my youngest daughter. I trip out every time I see this picture. Like I have like flashes. And like in my mind, that's how I'm gonna be when I see them. But I know it's not gonna be like that because they're like this now. Pretty sure that she doesn't have any recollections of me. And we talk now a lot more. She only knows me by pictures and, you know, our little conversations that we have, you know.
Soon, Rafa plans to take Jacob out of El Salvador, just as his parents did when he was a small child.
So you're gonna get on a bus, go into Guatemala legally. And then you get off the bus at the border of Mexico.
Yeah.
You've got to cross illegally.
And I gotta cross illegally.
Once in Mexico, Rafa hopes to seek asylum in Tapachula, a transit town for migrants heading north. From there, he'll embark on the nearly 2,500-mile journey to the U.S. border.
United States, if you break the law, you go to jail and you're separated from your family. Shouldn't be any different for illegal immigrants.
But in the midst of increasingly harsh border restrictions issued by the U.S. government, including a zero-tolerance policy that criminalizes illegal border crossing, Rafa is placing Jacob on a path of great risk.
I can't even begin to sympathize with you and your desire to get both yourself and your son into safety and into a place where you can raise him properly. But the minute you take an illegal course of action, a lot of Americans, both private citizens and the system, is just gonna say, you know what? Why should we grant you asylum or a stay in the U.S.? You broke the law.
Right, but I mean, I didn't want to go. We were gonna send him for go study over there. He come back, be a leader in the community here in El Salvador, so he could be a better. They didn't want him. It's not I'm sending my son to be on welfare or anything like that. My daughters are not even on anything like that. You know, they're law-abiding citizens. They're hard-working girls, and all they're gonna show is my son is to be a hard-working citizen.
There are so many more people who are in the same boat as you. And Americans say, you know what, we'd take in as many people as we could, but we can't. As soon as you cross that line, people's sympathy for you is gonna vanish.
Well,
the system's sympathy for you is gonna vanish.
I don't want nobody's sympathy, first of all. I know what I did is wrong and everything.
As you say all of this, and I think as an American who thinks that we have a responsibility to take people in, right? It is who we are as a people, it is what has made this country. But in your case, the series of rule breaking, but if you keep breaking the law, why the hell would America let you in? Why would the government say, you know what, you deserve a third chance? It's not gonna happen.
It's just, what could I tell you? There's nothing that anybody could tell me that's gonna take my mind away from where I'm at.
One of the things that your dad said was that he says that his goal in the short term is to get into Mexico, earn some money, and eventually settle in Tijuana, so that you'll just be a 3-hour drive from him and Jacob.
Right.
But he's also holding out the possibility that, once I get there, get enough money, and I'll get Jacob into the country however I need to, legally or illegally. And if all the legal, pathways have been exhausted, there's a coyote.
He knows he can't do it, it's just not gonna work. My dad has this need to like, we're in danger now, he needs to leave now, and then it's just like, I understand, but we can't right now.
In the fiscal year ending September 2016, a record 17,500 unaccompanied Salvadoran children were apprehended at the border, almost twice as many as in the previous year.
Listo.
You bring him here illegally and he gets caught, not only will he be sent back, but he will be barred, and that'll be on you. You're basically gambling your son's entire future just because you want him to leave right now.
If you think about the long-term consequences, if you think about where you are here today is a result of some mistake you made because you were in a desperate situation and made a bad call.
Yeah.
Well, the same goes for Jacob. Like, what if he gets deported?
As a parent, I'll do whatever it takes to get my son to the next step.
But before Jacob even reaches America and the possible threat of deportation, the journey itself is fraught with dangers that are far worse, like kidnapping or even death.
Aquí es, vamos.
As you guys have learned, having gone through all the paperwork of trying to get Jacob into a school and whatnot, that fair or not, Jacob's chances have been minimized based on the fact that he is his father's son.
Yep, definitely. They have Superman. Superman's a full costume. You know, like, we're not asking for the father to come, we're just asking for him to come. A 5-year-old who's not gonna take your job or be in the welfare or any of that stuff.
On your head so he's super smart, and on your belly so he's super hungry.
We fit the right criteria. We make more money than most people. It isn't enough. You know, they're just like, no, we just don't want people from Latin America coming into our country.
We love you, Jacob. Happy birthday.
What was the difference between like 90s, 2000s immigrants and now immigrants? They're the same people, they're just different generation. They still have the same goal, they still want to come live here. Everybody that comes here just wants the white picket fence dream.
Buenos días. Sí. Todos. Peletito.